How are you guys doing? It's nice to be showing up on your faces again today. I hope you're doing so well. Thanks to all the phenomenal and amazing people who have stayed so loyal to Growth School. You have been joining us. You have been enjoying the amazing and phenomenal things we have been doing. Thank you so much. Thank you so much, everyone. My name is Dr. Abiodun Mustafa, and I am your host all the time on Growth School. I'm really delighted to have you join us again today. Myself and also Precious Chinweani will be joining in very soon. She'll be joining in very soon. I hope you're fine. I hope you're doing very well. Been a while on Growth School. There have been a lot of demands and a lot of things having to attend to here and there. Just like I have to serve you, I also have other people I have to serve, mentors, leaders, and those who also place demands on my gifting. Thank you so much for joining. So today we're looking at the topic, like you can see from the promotion material, culture shaping, the tools of influence in the new decade. All right. So just before Chiwe comes in, like you can see, I want you to drop in the comments what's your name and where you joining from. I want to really see you. I want to really know you. I want to know where you're joining from, your name and where you're joining from. Maybe you're saying I'm Abiodun, I'm joining from Lagos, or I'm Abiodun, I'm joining from Port Harcourt, or I'm Shego, I'm joining from Ivory Coast, or I'm Bola, I'm joining from London. Just write your name and where you're joining from. So as Precious joins in, I will just do well to introduce her. And while I do the introduction, you will be able to really know Precious Chinweani better. But for now, I want you to just do well. Let me know where you're joining from. Let me know what your expectations are from this particular session. And we will be starting immediately. We'll be starting immediately. We'll be starting soon as possible. We're starting as soon as possible. Thank you so much, guys. All right. Interesting. Precious is also here. So she will be going live soon. Welcome, Precious. How are you doing? It's nice to have you be on Growth School. I guess you're muted. I
Thank you
guess you're
so much,
muted. I want to
Doc. Thank you so much, Doctor, for having me.
interesting.
I feel so excited.
So yeah, thank you so much. So I want to be sure that so you can hear me and you're here. So I will just go ahead and do the introduction, and you'll just take it up from there. And I'm really ready for us to have really amazing time. So for those who are just meeting Precious Chinweani for the first time, Precious goes by a very popular name called Global Presh, and she's a multiple award winning author of over 6 books, a leadership consultant, an international public speaker, a content creator, a young political activist with a deep passion for women empowerment. And with her years of experience in her field, she provides insight. She's very good with exceptional leadership skill, and she has over 50 professional certificates and awards. She's an entrepreneur. She goes about nation building in a pragmatic approach. She has a transformational leadership skill, and she's very amazing. She's the head of corporate communications and corporate sales executive for Jimmy Pajuel International and Jimmy Pajuel University. She's a convener of the Leadership Room, a virtual program where she helps young people make better leadership decisions, and reaching over 4,000 participants from different countries across the world. So Precious is really amazing. Some of our books, which I think she will speak about going on, are titled Gaining Clarity of Purpose, Kill the Excuse, Mental Blinker, Keep Your Craze, Dear It Baby, Maximizing Your Service Here. And she has won a lot of awards. Awards like Leadership Excellence Award by Mogi Global Leadership School, the Star Prize winner of the 16 Days Activism Alliance for Africa, winner leadership category, Superwoman Under 30, Nigeria Award 2022, Jimmy Pajor University 100 Young Leaders Innovation Award, and more. Female Activist of the Year by Alifia Media Award 2021, and the SUG Vice President of the Year. Wow, Seka Award 2021. And she has met really amazing, phenomenal people like Emeka Nobis, like Peter Doche, like Ambassador Chima Charles, and a lot of phenomenal people. Now, just to tell you that we did not make mistake having to invite Precious to come in here. So while she has done a lot of stuff around leadership, a lot of things around transformation, a lot of stuff around nation building, and this has happened as a result of a tool called the tool of influence. So how do we really shape culture? How do we ensure that we are able to build minds? How do we ensure that we are able to transform individuals? How do we ensure that we are able to shape decisions? How are we able to control people to take decisions, even though we are not physically where they are? So, ladies and gentlemen, I want to invite for the first time, and I believe not going to be the last time, on Growth School, the amazing, the global Precious Chinweani. So, Precious, over to you. I guess you're muted.
Good evening,
Precious.
everyone. Thank you so much, Dr. Abiodun, for the opportunity to be here. I'm really excited to be here in Growth School. Growth School, shout out to all of you. Shout out to the entire team. Thank you so much, Dr. Mustafa, for this opportunity. I do not take it for granted. I see you at Deze. I see everyone. I celebrate you also. Today, we're going to be talking about a very strategic and important topic titled Culture Shaping the Tools of Influence in the New Decade. Absolutely amazing topic for a time like this. But before we talk about, culture shaping and how it relates to influence and all of that, we have to understand what culture is. What do we mean when we talk about culture, right? In a world that's moving at a speed of digital transformation, like the world is moving so fast. Oh, the invent of AI, a lot of things are changing. The things we do normally are now becoming digitalized with technology, and it's so amazing to see the growth, the massive revolution happening. I call it creative and digital revolution happening. Therefore, culture shaping is very important, right? So in a world that's moving at the speed of digital transformation, influence is no longer about who speaks the loudest or who has the largest platform. I don't know if you get that. Influence has moved from being, oh, who speaks the loudest, who has the loudest voice, the smartest person in the room, or who has the largest platform. No, influence is no longer about that. It's no longer about who speaks the loudest, who shouts the most, who has the largest platform. Today, influence is much more personal, much more cultural, right? We have entered an era where culture is not just about background context. It is the engine that drives influence. So whether you're a brand, a leader, an entrepreneur, or a creator, understanding how culture shapes influence is non-negotiable. It's very important to understand it, right? Because in this new decade, the tools we use to influence are constantly being shaped, sharpened, and reshaped by cultural shifts. So in this session, we're going to be looking at we're going to be looking at how culture is changing influence, the tools that are emerging and evolving, and how you can harness both to build lasting, meaningful, and ethical influence. Now, let's talk about culture and influence. Let's understand what the term culture means and what does influence mean, right? What is culture? When we talk about culture, what do you think about? When we say culture, when we're in primary school or secondary school, we say culture is people's way of life. right? Oh, people's way of life and all of that. Yes, culture is the shared system of meaning. Culture is the shared system of meaning, value, customs, belief, languages, and symbol that a group of people use to understand their world. It means, in simple terms, culture is perception of how a group of people see themselves, how a group of people value themselves, how a group of people communicate, how a group of people behave, right? It's a shared system of meaning, values, customs, beliefs, languages, and symbols that a group of people use to understand their world, right? It is that invisible script. Yes, I call it the invisible script. Culture is that invisible script that influences how we think, how we act, how we communicate, how we create, how we behave, right? Culture is that invisible script. You know, when producers of movies or actors and actresses go on set to act a movie, they are being given hard copy of scripts that they need to study over and over again, master their lines before they actually act the movie proper and all of that. Now look at it in this picture. Culture is that script. This time it's not a hard copy, it's invisible, and it influences how we think, how we act, how we communicate, how we create, right? Culture is shaped by our backgrounds, our ethnicity, our religion, our traditional social systems, and personal experiences. So basically, culture determines what we consider polite or rude. It determines or helps us define success or failure. I don't know if you're following. Culture basically determines what we consider to be polite or rude. It determines how we see morality. It determines how we define success or failure. It determines what stories we can relate to. It determines what we aspire to become. And so culture is very dynamic, very, very dynamic. It's not static, it changes over time. For example, the values and aesthetics of the Gen Z generation are different from the millennials. Even though we live in the same country and all of that, we do not behave alike, right? You hear Gen Z says, "Oh, this is outdated for us. Oh, we don't behave like this," and the millennials are on the other side arguing their own. Their reasoning, the way they see things, their slangs, their mode of dressing, what they consider morality is entirely different. So culture is therefore dynamic, right? So the values of Gen Zs are different from the values of millennials, even though we live in the same country. So what this means is that culture adapts with different generations, with different technology, with different global events. Now let's look at the other neighbor, influence. What is influence? What do we understand by influence? When we talk about influence, what do we understand? What do we have in mind? Right? A lot of people will say influence is, persuading people. A lot of people will say influence is persuading people to do what they want. Influence is probably convincing someone to act in a way. Influence is, a lot of people have different definitions of what influence is. But to me, influence is the ability to shape opinions. Yes, ability to shape opinions, to make contributions, to shape behaviors and decisions. Your ability to contribute your quota to change opinions, behavior, decisions. That's what influence is. And in this digital era, influence is about being able to connect with others in a way that leads to action. Yes, you got that right. In this digital age, influence is not just about now influencing people physically, it's now about being able to connect with people in different parts of the world, networking with people, and eventually this connection will lead to an action. Whether the action is about buying a product, sharing a message, joining a movement, or shifting a mindset, It is influence. And there are several types of influence. We have positional influence. This comes with authority. This comes from authority, e.g., when you have a manager or a president, it's called positional influence. We have the expert kind of influence. The expert kind of influence comes from knowledge or skills. Example, we have doctors, we have thought leaders, expert influence. We have Dr. Abiodun, right, who is our leader for the growth school. So he falls under the category of expert influence, his expertise, right? We have relational influence. This comes from trust and connection that you have with your peers, your colleagues, and all of that, right? So in the past, influence was top-down controlled by those in power. Yes, in the past, people we consider influential, people in power, people in politics, people in, all of that. Now, influence is peer to peer. The average person can influence thousands of people. Yes, an average human being has influence over thousands of other people. For example, look at the platforms like we have TikTok, we have YouTube, we have Twitter. People are continually being influenced by the videos they watch on YouTube, by the videos they listen to, by the replays they get on YouTube. Look at TikTok, for instance. A lot of Gen Zs and millennials are influenced by TikTok. Every day new trend, every day new challenge. So influence has gone beyond the top down thing where we thought that, oh, it's only the president that can have influence, only the governor can have influence. No, anybody can have influence. That somebody goes to TikTok and is dancing naked is already influencing another person. Somebody is watching that video and is feeling somehow and wants to get on the trend. Somebody goes on TikTok and says something, and other people follow it. It's influence, right? But there are different types of influence. Now, why culture shapes influence now more than ever? Have you ever asked yourself, why does culture shape influence in this time and now more than it has ever done? This is because modern audiences crave authenticity. Yes. This current Gen Z generation, millennial generation, they are hungry for authenticity. They are craving for genuinity. They don't just want to be told, they want to do it. They want to be seen. They want to be heard. They want to be understood. Gone are the days when you give somebody money, you just want to be dashing somebody money like that. People want to know where you're getting the money from. They want to fish like you're fishing. They don't just want to be collecting the fish from you. They are hungry and eager to fish. So they don't want to be told. People no longer want that kind of influence when you tell them to do this and they just sit down to do it. They want to see you do it. They want to be seen. They want their voices heard. They want to be understood. So culture acts as a bridge between the influencer and the audience, right? When content reflects a person's culture, they feel understood, they trust the messenger more, they are also most likely to engage and take action. Think of the Nigerian music industry. For instance. When Burna Boy blends pidgin, African instruments, and local references, it resonates deeply with Africans and introduces global audiences to authentic Nigerian culture, right? When Burna Boy blends his songs, if you listen to Burna Boy's songs a lot, I'm using Burna Boy for example because he's an African Afrobeat singer that's global, one of the biggest, right? Now, Burna Boy infuses pidgin language, our Nigerian pidgin language, with all the several African musical instruments. And these songs are played on global stages. He's introducing African culture to the global audience. He's introducing the African culture to the global audience, right? By blending pidgin. Of course, his songs are played in stadiums, in USA, in different countries. When these songs are playing, people are dancing to the African culture and tune and music instrument, right? So this makes him, these are cultural grounding, this cultural This act alone is cultural grounding and it amplifies his influence, right? It amplifies his influence. So basically, culture shaping and influence. Culture is that bridge, right, between the influencer and the audience. In the context of Nigerian music, when I use Burna Boy is the influencer, and the culture, the African music instrument, the pitching he speaks, is the culture. That is a bridge between his audience and the globe, right? Now, the shift in influence, right? The shift in influence, right? There are several legacy tools of influence. Before the internet, the main tools of influence were television and radio. Yeah, that's right. There's a radical shift in influence. There's a radical shift in influence. It's no longer what we used to know. There's a lot of advancements. So before now, before the internet came, before social media, the main tools of influence were just television and radio. They broadcast messages to a large audience, but didn't allow for interaction. A lot of radio stations and television stations back then do not allow for interaction. They just give the news. Newspapers and magazine, print or media, they print it. People buy the newspapers. A lot of people were buying newspapers. If you go to people's houses, you will see stacks of newspapers they bought and they read. Public figures and celebrities, only a few had access to platforms. But right now, the system has changed. The system has changed. There's a massive transition into the internet and social media, right? When it was just television, radio, newspapers, magazine, public figures or celebrities, those in power, governors, president, the system had gatekeepers who decided whose voices were to be heard. These TV presenters were the ones to choose, oh, I want this person to appear on this radio station. I want this person to appear on our television. They controlled whose voices to be heard. Politicians had the right to silence anybody, or they had every right to bring up anybody on the show, and whoever they don't want it. They were called gatekeepers at that point, editors, producers, executives, who decided whose voices were to be heard. But there's a massive transition into the internet and social media phase. With the rise of the internet, influence has begun to shift. We now have blogs. Anyone can publish their thoughts and gather a following. Yes, people can just wake up and create a page today, and the next day, the page is over 100, the page is over 1 million followers, the page is over 2 million followers. And they are publishing news on the media, and people scroll through and read. Look at YouTube, for example. Video content is democratized. Yes, video content is democratized. Entertainment and education is now for free. YouTube is an open university. There's basically nothing you want to learn on YouTube that you cannot learn. There's basically nothing you want to learn on YouTube that you cannot learn. So YouTube is an open university. And this is because of the transition into the phase of internet and social media. Look at Facebook and Twitter. People are connecting every day, sharing value, sharing knowledge, influencing one another directly. Every post people make, they are influencing a set of people. For example, Precious Chinweani, I have a following on Facebook. Everybody who follows me, who reads my thoughts, indirectly or directly, are being influenced. Dr. Abiodun, the same thing. People are connecting, sharing, and influencing directly or indirectly. So influence has started moving from institutions to individuals. There was a time when it's just institutions, government, parastatals, private organizations that had influence. But right now, individuals are the seat of influence. We now live in a creator economy. Tools have evolved. We have Instagram, TikTok. People are every day on TikTok. We have podcasts. There are several podcasts out there. We have newsletters. We have community platforms. We have Discord. We have WhatsApp, small groups with intense loyalty. We have Canva. We have CapCut. And these tools reward creativity, consistency, and cultural relevance. Now, what are the cultural forces driving influence? We have to look at the cultural forces that drive influence. Rise of cultural identity and pride. Number one is the rise of cultural identity and pride. People are embracing their heritage more than ever. Yes, people are now proud of where they are from, their identity. Before now, oh, if you say you're African, you're a black person, oh, there's this segregation, there's this apartheid, there's this racism. But right now, people have evolved. People are embracing their heritage more than ever. African fashion is making history. African hairstyles is making history. African languages are being celebrated globally. Diaspora communities are reconnecting with their roots. Cultural storytelling via music, movies, content is gaining global recognition. So the matters for influence, this matters for influence because people want to see themselves reflected in the media and messages, right? Everybody wants to see their culture, their way of life, their voices heard. And it's very important. Number two is the socialization of power, decentralization of power. The internet has removed traditional gatekeepers. Remember, I mentioned, oh, when we had just the television and radio and all of that, we had gatekeepers who made decision of who voice will be heard or not. Now there's the centralization of power. The internet has removed those traditional gatekeepers. You don't need anybody's permission to open Facebook. You don't need anybody's permission to open TikTok. You don't need anybody's permission to open LinkedIn. Anyone can start a podcast. Anyone can write a blog. Anyone can build a brand. Just anyone. Young creators with a phone and passion are now more powerful than institutions. Yes. Young people who are still in school, those who are out of school, who, with just their phone, with just their gadget, their cell phone, can do powerful things more than institutions, more than big global institutions, right? And people now follow who they feel are real, not just with titles. People follow who they feel are real. Number three is micro communities and niche culture. Instead of targeting everyone, creators and influencers are focusing on specific communities, right? We have Afrocentric fashion lovers, we have Gen Z mental health advocates, we have faith-based entrepreneurs. People are building communities. Small communities are even more engaged and loyal and trusting. People are building communities and making influence, right? Number four is cultural storytelling. Storytelling is now deeply tied to our identity. The use of um, the use of our local native languages, our dialects, our accents. People are beginning to speak their dialects more, and they proudly speak it. Before now, you see somebody probably the person is an Igbo person, and they're just speaking English. They don't even know how to speak Igbo. Now everybody is trying to train their children. Everybody's bracing their language. Language is very important. So storytelling is deeply rooted into influence and into culture, right? So people are embracing their native languages, their dialects, their accents, their cultural signals and belongings. They are embracing traditions and values and experiences, and people are responding to that. Now, what are the emerging tools of influence? What are the emerging tools that in this creators economy, a lot of people are utilizing to build influence, to dominate globally, to network, to grow their brand, their vision, their dreams, their projects? We have short form videos, platforms like TikTok, Instagram Reels. They emphasize fast, fun, and emotional content. They reward trends, but also cultural creativity. They allow users to remix and reinterpret cultural themes, right? A lot of creators are going viral for showcasing their traditional meals, their local dances, their languages, their humor, their talent. A lot of creators are going viral. Somebody opens a TikTok account today, and in the next 1 week, the person is already having 1K following. Yes, it's tools like ChatGPT and Medium. a lot of podcasts. People are doing podcasts. Before now, podcast was not as rampant as it is, but podcasts and voice apps are powerful. People discuss issues, trending issues, businesses, brands, personal growth, career development, in different niches. Then community building platforms, we talk about the value of community building online communities. A lot of people think about what life could be without physical. COVID-19 opened our eyes to the possibility of the internet and how you can wield right. So it was during the COVID-19 that Telegram, WhatsApp blew up. People now have so much trust in these apps. They have small groups for messaging. Identity, values, and aspirations. So COVID-19 launched us into the creators economy, where every business, every brand is basically on the individual brand as a person. Right now, how do you influence with cultural intelligence? How do you influence people, bearing in mind the whole culture shaping thing? How do you influence people? Start with self-awareness. Right, I say this all the time. You cannot start something when you don't know what to start in the first place. Right, talking about influence, you cannot influence people if you don't know yourself. I say this all the time. Every leader must come to the point where they have led themselves first. You must lead yourself first. You must lead yourself first. You must be able to lead yourself, right? Leadership and influence starts with self-awareness. In business, they call it SWOT analysis. Doing your due diligence through SWOT analysis, where you get to understand your strengths, your weaknesses, the opportunities, the threats. It's same thing when it relates to influence. You must do your due diligence. You must understand yourself first. You must understand your cultural background. You must understand your perspectives. You must understand your worldview, your values, your unique voice. Until you understand yourself, this clarity would help you understand. Will help you attract the right audience. Until you understand yourself as a human being, you'll be able to attract the kind of audience you're looking for, and then will you now be able to influence them, right? The next thing is know your audience deeply. As a person who is dreaming to be influential, who is dreaming to be a leader, an entrepreneur, as a business owner, whatever field you want to go into, you must understand your audience. Go beyond surface level information. Ask questions. What are the daily struggles of the people you want to reach out to? You want your life to influence. What are their daily struggles? What is their pain point? What language do they speak? Do they speak their cultural languages? What language do they speak culturally and emotionally? How do you connect with them emotionally? What symbols or ideas do they connect with? Right? So you must grow your influence beyond the surface level and know your audience. Right? Build cultural relevance, not just reach. Going viral is good as a creator, as a business owner. Going viral is also good, but being relevant is better. Being relevant is very, very better. It's important that while you're influencing people, you ensure that you're on the right track, that the topics or whatever you're discussing with them is in line, right? That you are able to give these people value or return on investment for their time, their energy. And yes, you're not influencing them negatively, you're influencing them positively, right? Now, look at this, right? Building ethical and lasting influence is very important. It's very, very important. Influence equals responsibility. You can't be saying, "Oh, I want to be a person of influence. I want to be a person of influence." It doesn't work like that. Influence means responsibility. It equals responsibility. If people listen to you, then you must educate them truthfully. If people listen to you, you must uplift others. If people listen to you, you must avoid exploitation. If people listen to you, then you must give value. If people listen to you, you must be authentic. You must educate them and not manipulate them. Influence does not equal manipulation. Influence is responsibility. Right? Influence is responsibility. Influence does not manipulate. So it's very important that you understand this. If you must lead people, lead yourself first, educate them, be authentic, be real. Now, as a person who is trying to be influential, you must serve before selling. You must serve people. You must serve people. Service is a skill. Yes, service is a skill that everybody must have. You must serve people. You must volunteer when necessary. You must have a group of support network of people who you are serving or who you're working with. When you serve people, people tend to trust you. Yes. So if you're looking at becoming an influential person, you must put service and honor in your diary, in your radar. Culture is not a trend. It is the lens through which influence flows. Culture is not a trend. It is the lens through which influence flows. And in this new decade, the most powerful tools of influence will be shaped by authenticity and guided by cultural awareness and powered by real connections. Culture is not decoration, it is direction. And influence is not noise, it is meaning. Tools are not the goal, connection is. If you want to lead, create and inspire, or build anything at all that lasts, you must start with culture, and it will shape how you use these tools. It will shape how you use these tools. Thank you so much, Dr. Abiodun. I hope in this few minutes I've been able to touch everything about culture shaping the tools of influence in this new decade. I'd like to take questions too. Thank you very much.
Amazing, amazing, amazing. That was really, really phenomenal. That was a great one. Thank you so much, Global Press, for doing justice to the topic, and thanks for the amazing work that you do. All right, so before I open up to the audience to ask their own question, I think I have some questions that I would like to ask. Now, firstly, I'm looking at your journey and how you have grown and evolved over time, because one thing I want to be very sure of is your own journey of influence did not start today. And this morning I was just thinking across my head and just looking at it, that one thing people should recognize is building and growing influence is not a joke. Like, it will demand a lot of things from you. But not choosing to be influential ends up becoming unfulfilling. So, which means that everyone should decide to live intentionally. So, there's a way people can be influential and then they are not aware they are. But it's really important that people become intentional about growing and building influence. Now, I want to ask you, looking at your journey, what were some of the challenges you faced in having to build influence, in having to make impact, in having to change the culture in sometimes such anti-culture aligning environment and society? So what are some of the challenges you faced and how were you able to overcome them?
All right. Thank you so much for that question. Very, very important. So, that question is very, very important because influence, like you said, is very demanding. Very, very demanding. And if you choose not to be influential, then your voice will be forever silenced. Yeah, so there's several challenges, right, I faced in my journey of impact and trying to become influential because I did not just start today. I started as a little girl. I've always known, oh, I want to be a person of influence. I want to contribute my quota to nation building, community development, and all of that, right? And I've always wanted to, just do my thing globally from the local community and then extend my hands of fellowship globally. There are several things and several obstacles I encountered. I think the very first of them is self doubt and imposter syndrome, right? So I've discovered that not just about me right now, but many aspiring influencers and change makers feel that they aren't qualified enough. Yes, I recently watched the video on Netflix, The Light We Carry. The Light We Carry is a documentary between Oprah Winfrey and Michelle Obama. And one of the things that stood out in that conversation while I was watching the documentary for me is that Michelle Obama said something. She said, even at the level where she is, when she gets into certain rooms of power, she still feels scared and unqualified. So imagine at the level where she is, she still feels like that. How much more us who are still upcoming, right? So a lot of people who are aspiring influencers, change makers, they feel they are not qualified. They fear they don't deserve a seat at the table. Right. Oh, so I experienced this so much. At some point, I feel like, oh, am I even qualified for this? A lot of things that will come, a lot of opportunities, and I'm feeling like, oh, I'm not qualified. So I started working on that mindset as early as possible because this mindset is a limiting one. It limits your voice, makes you shrink back from opportunities. Yes. I didn't realize how many opportunities, how many global opportunities, fellowship, grants, I was qualified for at the time because I was scared. I was scared to launch into my power. I was scared to exercise my influence. I was scared to lead. So I would just rather crawl back in my shelf. I didn't realize so many opportunities that I was qualified for until I broke that limit of self-doubt. Right. So did I overcome self-doubt? The first thing you need to do is document your journey. Your process is as powerful as your dreams and your outcomes. Your process is very powerful. Document each step of the journey. Oh, today was like this. You made a little progress. You started with a 1,000. You started a 1,000 step and you were able to do just two steps. That's beautiful. Document it. Hold on to that small win. Oh, you are supposed to do a 10,000 work and you were able to do 500. Amazing. Document that journey. Whether it's ugly, whether it's bad. Then remember it. Remember, people don't need you to be perfect. That's one thing I picked out in my journey. I always say to every person around me, people don't need you to be perfect. They just need you to be real and authentic. So be real, be you, simply be you. And then start small, start growable, start small, start growable, start intentionally. Influence is built through consistent small actions. Yes, tiny, tiny, small actions. It doesn't have to be so big, just tiny steps. They say a little drop of water makes a river. So tiny steps. I think the next challenge or obstacle I faced was fear of judgment or criticisms. Yeah, the social media is funny. You can wake up any morning and see that, oh, you are being dragged online. It's funny. And so I see a lot of great people or aspiring great people become afraid of being judged or being criticized. People fear being misunderstood. And for someone like me, that one of my love languages is to be understood. I love being understood. So you could imagine what it means for me to be afraid of being judged or criticized. But I had to break out of that. A lot of young people are scared of being criticized. They are scared of being misunderstood. They are scared of being mocked or publicly criticized, especially on social media. One dragon can either make or mar you. So that fear of judgment keeps a lot of people from starting, from speaking up, from sharing their message, from building. So one of the things that helped me overcome this fear of criticism is defining my why. So Dear young entrepreneur, dear young business owner, dear aspiring influencer, define your why. Define your why clearly. When your reason is strong, critics lose their power. When you know why you're leading in the first place, it becomes easier to overlook criticisms, right? And even absorb a lot of them with open mind. If you know your why, you will be able to stay on your why and stay on the purpose. There's this popular adage: when the purpose of something is not known, abuse is inevitable. So it's very important that you know the purpose why you are here on earth. Why are you called? And purpose is tied to problem solving. So, what problem are you created to solve? If you're trying to be influencer, what is the reason behind your desire for influence, behind your desire for power, right? So you must clearly define your why. Then accept feedbacks, not from everyone, but from people that are actually real. Know who your audience is, right? Nobody is perfect. And you see, as you rise in influence, you need to be also rising in growth. You must be growing. You must be teachable. You must be able to be open-minded. You must take feedbacks. There are things you might not do right that another person will see and tell you, oh, you're not on the right path. Please move to it. You accept it with open mind, with all your, accept the feedback. Now, use criticisms as a reflection, not rejection. You are not being rejected. Just use it as a reflection to see the bigger picture of what is possible or what you could do better. Then I think another thing is inconsistency. Very, oh, sometimes today you wake up in the morning and you're feeling very excited. There's so much energy. The next day you're not feeling like it. And you just want to give up, right? Consistency builds trust. Without it, people will disengage. So build systems, not just goals. As you're climbing the ladder of power, influence, build structures and systems and not just goals. Then be a creator. Be a creator, right? Um, that's that. And I think that the next thing is lack of clarity. A lot of people, they just want to become influencer because, oh, they had party A is influencer, party B is influencer, party C influencer, and they don't want to be left alone, right? So you shouldn't be, your desire or hunger for power and influence shouldn't be because, oh, somebody is doing it. No. So lack of clarity is one struggle, one thing people struggle with. So define what you stand for, and why you're doing what you're doing in the first place. Thank you very much.
All right. Thank you so much for giving an explicit answer to that question. Because of time, I think there is one more question that I would need you to answer before you go. Number of their meeting. Something I've seen that is very consistent about you is the fact that you have submitted to some sort of mentorship, and I think right now you're still doing that. For people who are just starting the journey of intentional influence building, like I said earlier, people build influence without even knowing, but those who want to build influence intentionally, from your story and experience, how crucial and essential do you think mentorship is? And how can people who are just starting out harness valuable mentorship to grow and to build their influence in this decade, so that at the end of the day, they can shape culture correctly? Because we're talking about culture shaping, and in a way also, there are people who are wrongly shaping the culture. Like, someone who is well brought up, maybe from a family well brought up, doing so well, living very right, just by getting entangled by certain things seen online, seen on certain platform, they then change their place of character, the place of having a good attitude, and then they just change the other way. So influence can be in different forms. It's like two sides of the sword or two sides of the coin, depending on which side you decide to flip to. So, how has mentorship helped you, and how can people harness the power of mentorship to shape culture correctly?
Wow, very, very important question. Very important question. Mentorship is powerful. Very powerful. You can't even do without mentorship. You know, there's this thing we say, oh, there's no shortcut to success. I debunk that. Mentorship is the shortest cut to success. Over the years, people have spurred others to reach for the stars. And as this saying goes, we all need someone who inspires us to do better than we know how to do. This is what a mentor does. We all need that one person who will tell you to aim for the stars, to aim for the moon, to aim for. We need that one person who inspires us to become better than we are yesterday. You see, everybody needs a mentor. No matter how successful you are, you can't underestimate the place of mentorship. A mentor's experience and knowledge can help you shorten the learning curve. For the past few years, for the past years, for the longest, I've been very fortunate. I've been very fortunate enough to be under the mentorship of a leader who has crazy ideas and has multiple streams of income, who have carved out a niche for himself, excelling big time in the industry. And through his experience, I've seen firsthand that mentors actually allow their mentees to see for themselves and gain insight. Like I am a product of mentorship, a product of mentorship. And mentorship can provide numerous benefits for both the mentor himself and their mentee. So, developing this kind of relationship, the mentor mentee relationship, can help both people learn in both ways. Very, very important. Mentors have great experience and can provide fresh perspective. Mentors see a problem through fresh lenses. They have experience. Experience is one of the most valuable assets anybody can have. And mentors often know the ups and downs of the path you want to take. They can act as your map and compass on your journey to success. Yes, I repeat that. That path you want to take, a mentor have gone there, have made mistakes, have come back, and has pure experiences that is a valuable asset to your journey. My mentor, for example, gave me views that I hadn't even considered in my lifetime, which has broadened my perspective on leadership and has prevented me from failing in certain areas. Right? This doesn't mean that I've not experienced setbacks before. No. But my mentor's advice hastened things up for me, hastened my growth, helped me jump over things that would have been, excuses and mess ups on my journey. Right? And one of the things mentors do for you is they can help you network with people. When it comes to business, networking is essential. And this is where my mentor has been so able to give me a leg. Right? My mentor has been able to give me a leg. He's been able to help me leverage his network, expand my own network. I meet people, several people. So there are a lot of things a mentor can do for you. You cannot escape mentorship. If you really want to thrive in any industry, you need a mentor. Right? Mentors will help you in building your businesses, your organization culture. And organization culture has a key role to play in the success or failure of any business. A good culture keeps employees motivated and committed. Mentors can help you develop that culture, right? You can make more decisive decisions. If you have a mentor, you can increase your management skills, right? Mentorship is very important, and you have to strive to find a mentor. You need to find a mentor who suits you, who sees the vision, who sees the project, who sees the path you have chosen. You need someone who is willing to invest their time and effort in you, right? From my perspective, you see, finding a mentor is like finding a life partner. Yes, finding a mentor is as much important as finding a life partner. You will need to expand your network and get a feel for your circle. You need someone who can make the journey you're about to take easy. My mentor have a mentor, and he too, his own mentor had a mentor. And the baton of knowledge keeps passing on from one generation to the next. So, right today, I'm also mentor to a lot of other people. So, mentorship is very important. A good mentor opens doors to success. Opens doors to success. Your mentor in your life is very important. So you have to choose who your mentor is wisely. You cannot neglect the place of mentorship. Like, how far do you even want to go without a mentor? A mentor will give you a ladder to climb and you achieve what you want to achieve faster. So it's very important. Thank you, sir.
Wow, that's really amazing. Thank you so, so much. And thank you everyone for staying tuned till this time. It's really amazing learning from the depth of wisdom of global fresh, culture shaping, knowing all of these tools, using them to change your life, being intentional, growing intrinsic influence while you are able to offer perspective influence to the people who look up to you. Thank you so much. It's really amazing to do this with you tonight. And thanks for accepting our invitation to be here tonight. And we apologize. I know a number of people say, "Oh, would have loved to see your face. Would have to look at how nice you look," which is very very amazing. So, Global Pressure, I want you to share with the audience how can they connect with you after now, and also share with us some of your products, books, and how people can get them, because there are people who still want to get more of your knowledge. You say, "Oh, this growth school session is not enough for us to get all of the things that you know." I want to speak about your products. How can people reach out and also order for some of your book and maybe some of your courses? Do you just want to mention that?
Okay, so thank you so much, sir, for that opportunity. I do not take it for granted. So basically, if you want to get my books, you can actually reach out to my seller store. I have a store in Seller where all my books are. You can check my Stella store, Precious Chinweani on Seller, and you're going to see all of my books on Seller. You can click on the one you want to get and get. Then you can connect with me on Facebook. My name on Facebook is Chinweani Precious Ifechuku. You can always search me on Facebook, the same name on LinkedIn, the same name on TikTok, the same name on Instagram. So you can just put in my name on Facebook and then it pops out. And then give me a follow. For my books, you can visit my Stella store. Thank you so much, sir. Can you hear me, sir?
Yes, 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 I can. So I was just trying to put that up so that people will know the correct place to go to. So this is Chinweani Precious in Fechuku Seller Store. You can just go visit the platform, look at it. You can also see some of the things she has done, programs, books, and some phenomenal, amazing products. And something that fascinates me about Precious Chinweani is the excellence and attention she pays to our brand. So when you get any of the products, you are getting excellence, you're getting something to align with. Please do well to visit the seller store. Just go straight there, seller.com/m/chinweani_precious. So it's going to take you there straight up, or if you search on Google, you will be able to get the link straight up. Thank you so much, Precious. I encourage everyone to get our products. Reach out to the program she does. You can go on Facebook immediately. You just type her name on Google. You'll see the Facebook. You will see um, a profile on Jamie Pajuel University platform. You'd see it there, and you also see our Instagram. So visit all of our platforms, follow her, and make sure that you engage with the things that she's doing. Thank you so much, Precious, for doing this. Thank you for being here. Thank you for the amazing things we did. I know a number of people did not know where we met, so I will just give maybe a quick story. Precious and myself were invited to a webinar, and I listened to her and just aligned with this person and say, no, this person has to be on Growth School. And we've been on it for a while, just trying to work on creating the best time for her to be available. Thank you so much, Precious. I really hope that when we invite you again, you will be delighted to accept our invitation.
Yes, sure. Yes, I'll always be
So
available. Thank you so much.
thank
I'm
you
really
so
grateful.
much. We are more grateful. Thank you so much. Thank you for all that you do. So everyone, that is amazing, amazing, amazing. Please do well digest all of these things, use them, and follow up with all of the things that have been said. Do well to follow Precious Chinweani and just get more of our product, reach out to her, and keep making the rest of your life the best of your life. Till I come your way again, same time next week, keep making a difference with your life and keep doing the things that matter always. Bye bye.